really happy to be here. It's interesting because I was just saying to a guy a couple weeks ago, I'd been out west, and I hadn't been out west in a long time. And I said, there are only two places in the country I want to coach, and that's the Big Ten and the SEC. So I'm very fortunate to be here, very happy to be here with a great head coach and a great defensive coordinator, and excited and ready to go.
Coach Steve Robertson with Gene's Page and Dogs Bite. Why was Mississippi State an appealing opportunity for you?
Well, Dan, we coached against each other years ago when he had Tebow down at Florida. And, they averaged a boatload of points, and we played pretty good that day and won that game. And so I kind of knew about him, and when he came here, he offered me a job here, but at the time, I committed to another job. And so I knew him, and of course, because of that, I followed Mississippi State, and he's done a wonderful job here. And this program has now made bowl games an expectation and been number one in the country for several weeks. They've had great players. And so I just think there's an opportunity to win here. I think this conference has been outstanding for many, many years. I think that played into it. And then I think this town is going to be good for my family. So those are some of the reasons.
Coach Paul Jones for 24/7 Sports. You kind of got a unique situation where you've got some JUCO safeties coming in with some veterans coming back. Talk about working with a mixture like that.
Well, you don't know till you know. And so I haven't really coached these guys on the field. We've done some drills and stuff and visited and stuff like that. And so my job is really, I was telling one of the players a minute ago, my job is they're A player, my job is to make them an A player. They're a B player, and so on and so forth. So my job is to make them the very best that they can be based on their ability, and hopefully make them even a little better than they think they can be. But I'm excited because there is some ability there. I think Coach Grantham does a fabulous job. I watched him last couple of years at Louisville. So I'm just excited to work with the guys. I think we're going to have a system that allows them to make some plays, and my job is to get them to do that.
Team last year ranked last in passing yards allowed in the SEC last year. How do you go about fixing that or making the adjustments necessary with the personnel, the players that are returning this year?
Yep. I haven't watched all the games, so I don't know what the real issues were. But to play defense, period, you have to leverage the ball. You have to leverage it in the run game and in the passing game. The kids have to know exactly what they're doing, what they should be looking at. They have to finish plays. You got to get a pass rush. I mean, that's part of playing pass defense. So really, I think it starts with the staff knowing exactly what we're doing and being able to teach what needs to be taught in a consistent way that the players can understand and execute.
You mentioned that you haven't coached in this area yet. Have you recruited in the Southeast much in your career?
Just a little bit. South Panola a little bit. And, I spot recruited. So at Michigan, if there was a defensive player, I'd come down here and see that player. A little bit of Louisiana, a little bit of Alabama, a little bit of Mississippi. When I was at Louisville, I recruited Atlanta. So I know there are great players here, great big guys that can run around. And so I'm excited to get into it. I think recruiting is hard work in relationships. I mean, that's the reality of it, the ability first to evaluate players and then to develop relationships and to work hard to find out who the decision makers are around the players. So I don't think that has changed, and I've had some success recruiting all over this country, and I would imagine it to be the same.
You say it's hard work in relationships. Is that just spending time and going around to as many places as possible?
They're spending time. As a coach, particularly when I was a head coach, I talk to the staff all the time about, you go out in the spring and some of these guys are at the hotel at 3 o'clock or playing golf or doing whatever they do. And I think that recruiting is about time and effort and really doing what you say you're going to do. So if your reputation is to do what you say you're going to do, and if you spend the time and put the effort in, I think you'll have a chance to be successful.